I'm gonna break it down in a simple exercise that average pianist, average level, let's say intermediate, advanced, could possibly follow. Alright, so we're gonna start with, well, little prelude. So, a little prelude for imagination. So first of all, we need to understand which timbres we're gonna use for each hand. So as I said before, I'm gonna use soprano in my right hand and cellos in my left hand. Now the sound movement that is absolutely necessary for imagining sound and for a wrist movement that follows the pattern of imagination has certain rules. So you need to compare a note with the previous note. If the note is higher than previous note, then movement to the right. G is higher than B, then G is to the right. F is lower than G, then F is to the left. To the left. So if the note is lower than previous note, then the movement is to the left. The same notes in a row have the same direction of the very first note. Now, imagination part. First, just try to imagine every note separately, one at a time. Remind yourself the pitch by playing it. Feel the movement of the sound. By singing it. Again, the first note could be at your choice, could be left to the right, because there is no previous note before this first note. And for the timbre, listen to the vocal example. I'll put the link in the description below. Recall the general sound of timbre and imagine this particular note in this beautiful voice with movement to the right. After that, go to the next note, G, play. You can sing in your comfortable octave. Listen to the timbre, imagine note in the timbre with movement. Do this with separate hands, and well, if you have sometimes in soprano double notes, like over here, don't try to imagine two notes together right away. Take, for example, the top note. That's enough for you. Just top note in the melody. Now imagine note in the line with glissando. So now we're going through from imagining separate notes to imagining the line and sequentially. And for this, again, you could just try to sing with glissando. And for those of you who might struggle with singing the clear pitch, I suggest you to simply play along with your singing, so you won't have this problem. Now, the way you sing glissando is basically this way. When one note from D, we're from C, to reach E. So we're going, and we're gonna blend one note into another during the way, just like colors in the rainbow are blending very gently with no sharp edges. So we're going take your breath, take your break, don't exhaust yourselves trying to sing the whole line in one breath. And again, after you sing, it's gonna be much easier to imagine it. So listen again the timbre of the vocal voice to remind yourself the texture. And now, without touching the keys, try to imagine every note in this timbre with movement, with glissando, just like you sang. On one line. something like this. So these skills again take some time to develop. The next step would be imagining and playing. So what you could do is you can first try to play without volume. If you have a digital piano, put it down. If you have a upright piano, just close it and play on the lid of the piano. So it will sound something like this. If I imagine the first note with movement, then I gently touch the key, and the way I imagine my movement in my mind, I do the same with my wrist. So I would move my wrist to the right this way. Again, everything you're gonna do, you're gonna make without any tension in hands. I mean it. And I have created so many videos about the importance of playing with relaxed hands, because it is very important. First of all, you can injure yourself if you, for example, do something like this and you keep tension in your hand and you believe that this tension will help you to control the tone. And second of all, when you tense your hand, it prevents actually the energy of your imagined sound reaching your fingertips, because it's all about this. You imagine, you feel it in your mind, you feel it in your fingertip. So keeping your hand relaxed to let the energy flow through your muscles is very important. So you imagine sound, you touch it, you move your wrist. Okay, and after that, you need to imagine glissando to the next note. Then you imagine next note, you touch it, you move the wrist the same way you imagine the sound. Then you go to the next note, imagine glissando, play it, move your wrist. Now, special attention to the elbow movements that I wrote in the score. This is how we go. When you see the circle note, you move your wrist, you play the note, you move your wrist, and then you move your elbow. That's the order. Play the note, move your wrist, move your elbow. So in this case, D sharp, we're going to move elbow to the left, because we are going down, that's why we're moving elbow to the left. For example, in the left hand, this B circle, so when you would touch the B, you would move your elbow to the right because we're going higher. And when you're going here, you're gonna move your elbow to the left because we're going lower. So after you play this way, right hand, then you can make the volume up again, and then you do the same, but now you also hear the outcome, and while hearing outcome, you need to imagine next note. So it's kind of overlaying here, so it could be a bit more challenging. So it looks like this. Again, like I said, in this double notes, just imagine the top note. Of course, I do imagine everything, but for you it's like this. After this, you do the same with the left hand, all the steps that I just shown you. Every note, one by one, pitch, sing, listen to the timbre, imagine. Pitch, sing, listen to the timbre, imagine. Pitch, sing, then try to imagine it. I'm not sure you can sing it though, but try to imagine it with glissando. All cellos go with glissando. And then play it again without sound first. Very precisely. And then with sound. All the movements you have to do fast. Even if you play slow, it doesn't mean that you have to move your elbow slow. You have to move it quickly and to prepare fast your position. So I'm not gonna play, I'm gonna talk about polyphonic ear now, how you combine the notes, and then I will play for you to show you the result. So after you've done separate lines, top note in the melody, accompaniment on the left hand, you're now going to combine those notes. And again, you want to start with one vertical line at a time. So here we go. Now this is our first interval. So now when we get this interval, don't try to imagine two notes at the same time. You will not succeed with this. Start imagining sequentially. Now if both notes, let's say, are to the right, you will start imagining from the lower note to the top note. If both notes with movement to the left, you will start imagining first top note, then lower note. If notes have different direction, then first you would imagine the note that goes to the left, and second that goes to the right. So what you would do in your imagination, you would imagine first this note, then this note, then faster. And that's what you need to do with every single line. So next one is here. You imagine F to the left, E to the left, faster. Then you imagine this, D to the left, F to the left, okay? After this, try to make the whole line. So again, take some bars and simply imagine notes together with glissando. Shouldn't be a problem. For example, if you go here, you would imagine cellos, soprano, and while you keep imagining soprano, you imagine cellos here. Soprano, cello, cello, soprano, cello, soprano, cello, this way. And on the last step, again, you're gonna try to play. Suggest you again without sound. Always control yourself. Imagine note first. Imagine glissando to the next note played. Imagine glissando to the next note played. Imagine glissando to the interval played. Just like this, with correct wrist and elbow movements. So now I'm gonna play for you how it looks like basically when I'm making the very first step. So my fingering are written in the score, my circle notes are on the position change notes, my circles are on the position change notes. So now without any tension, just like a good robot, I'm gonna imagine notes and make beautiful wrist elbow movements. So it would look this way. I can really tell you what is going on when I am in between notes. I already have the sound somewhere here in my fingers, and that's how I will control my touch. So something like this. Now about the elbow movement, I think there is one part like over here. So it's very simple to play if you just move your elbow first to prepare D, then you play D, then you move your elbow to the right to prepare F. But just explaining that elbow movement helps you play big leaps in fast tempos with ease and comfort. So to complete this step, it might take 1 day or 1 month. It really depends on your abilities to imagine notes. But you can always start and try. Alright, so let's go to the next step. Let's start first with intonation only. Sing the melody out loud with movement, glissando, and resistance. So the movement we already know from the previous step. So every note we would sing right or left depending on the melody pattern. Now glissando we're also familiar with, basically when we make blending. Now what is new here is resistance. So the best analogy with resistance would be if you would move your hands not in the air but in the water. So instead of you would move with a little bit of resistance. So let me just give you an example. This is how you sing without resistance. With free, gentle voice. Now just with the same free voice, just to add resistance. So this resistance is exactly what will help us to feel distance in between notes while internal singing. The best explanation ever. Okay, so repeat small fragments after me. Just do this routine after me. Sing first out loud. Now sing and play. Now sing internally. Now sing internally and play. Now take the second fragment, for example. Seconds are killing me. Yes, to feel resistance in that small interval is really challenging. So now sing out loud and play. Now sing internally. The beauty of internal singing, you can breathe anytime you want. Now sing internally and play. You can breathe, yeah, okay. Still keep your hand absolutely relaxed, even when you feel resistance. Now play the whole line. You can sing along out loud at first to feel sensations better. Then sing internally while playing, and that's what we actually need. Now, if you notice, even while singing internally, I still cannot really control the sounds. Some sounds are going way too loud, some sounds cannot be seen at all. So this is why we need to imagine notes. Not just imagining singing or something, but we need to imagine exact quality of the sound that we want to hear. So now we're gonna combine imagination and singing. So we're adding imagination. Oh, actually, we're gonna add imagination in a second. First, let's add weight. I forgot about weight. So let's add weight first. So weight is a sensation of free energy within the body. To find this sensation and feel how to transfer it through your body to the piano while playing, watch this video. Back straight, breathing. With exhale, I'm feeling freedom. I prefer to breathe through my mouth, I don't know. I feel more freedom if I do like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna use this weight. I'm going down. I feel this free energy somewhere in my feet. Now I'm going back. It passes through my legs, through my back, torso, through my arms, palms, and in my laps. That's it. So now let's come back to the keyboard. I will show you how to gather this way without actually bending forward. We sit on the edge of the bench because when we want to pass weight to the instrument, this is the best position to make it. When you sit too deep, your energy will stuck here, stuck on your pelvis or in your back. And we want to make this angle so it goes directly to the instrument. Don't forget, we still keep back straight to be able to play into the instrument, not into the floor. Feel freedom in your body. It's just the matter of one moment. You just feel it right away. And then you lean a little bit forward and you feel it in your feet. Then you feel how it rises from them, passes through your legs, back, and when it's ready to pour out through your palms to the keyboard, it's somewhere here, you start singing or playing. Do not keep arms on your laps when you come back. So when you're going back, do not keep them there, bring them to the knees. Do not stop or slow down free energy in arms. Like, okay, you're going well, and then you're frozen here. Just let it flow naturally through your arms to the knees. Feel the same energy without bending forward now, just like it was shown at the end of the video, and start singing when you feel that weight is ready to pour out through your hands. So what that means, I feel it's going here and I start singing together. It's like a little bit on exhalation. So and you see I'm leaning forward. Do not feel pushing or pressure sensation while singing. Do not sing without sound movement. This is how it sounds without weight and with weight. So if I sing without weight, if I sing with weight, makes your voice more powerful. It will make your muscles and tone as much powerful as your voice. So now we're going to make the same routine as we just made with intonation, but adding sensation of weight. Again, repeat small fragments after me. We're going to sing out loud then sing out loud and play, and we're gonna sing internally, then sing internally and play. So now every time you're about to sing or play, you need to gather weight and then start singing, okay? Internally. Internally and play. That's it, and then you go to the next fragment, to the next fragment, to the next fragment. After that you play the whole line. Again, you can sing alone first. Breathe, gather it again. And then sing internally with weight while playing. Now we're gonna add imagination. So imagine the note in timbre with movement, so in this case voice. Play it with wrist movement. While internal singing, imagine glissando to the next note. And play the next note with wrist movement. And again, while internal singing, imagine glissando to the next note. Play it with wrist movement. While internal singing, imagine glissando to the next note. Play. Okay, so that's how it goes. So when you mix imagination and singing, it feels almost like you're singing with your imaginary voice. And that's what we need to control our tone. So, when you are quite confident with this sensation in your right hand, now you can move on to the left hand and play the same way. So, imagine the note in timbre movement and cellos to the left. Play it with wrist movement. While internal singing, imagine glissando to the next note. You're imagining glissando in the timbre of cellos. Play next note. Move wrist, move elbow. While internal singing with weight, imagine glissando in timbre of cellos to the next note. Play it. While internal singing with weight, imagine glissando to the next note in the timbre of cellos. Play it. So that's how you are creating your performance, your playing. So at the end, you are trying to master it by playing with both hands. Absolutely the same way. So the point is, with internal singing, we can sing several lines together. Like I said before, we can breathe anytime we want, and we can sing as many lines as we want. Somehow we can feel it in our vocal cords. Yes, we cannot sing out loud many lines, but internally everything is possible. And about the gathering weight, I just want to say that basically when you play it, you just need to gather it once before playing, and then when you're there, you're just there. So you don't lose it usually. So this is how it looks, feels, and sounds like when I play with intonation and weight. So 2 notes. First, of course, when you play with weight, you can see how much it relaxes your hands, brings so much free energy to your hands and muscles. And second, as you can see, the touch is still not that perfect, is because I'm just imagining the basis. I never, like an artist, when he draws something, the painting, he just make first, let's say, with a pencil, some kind of pattern, and then he's gonna put some colors, and he's gonna put some shades, and all other nuances. So that's what we're gonna do in our next 2 sessions. We're gonna talk about how to imagine notes in harmony and dynamics with voicing. And that will already bring some beautiful gradations and some beautiful delicate touch to our playing. Again, to complete this stage, it might take again 1 day, might take 1 week, depending on your abilities to sing, because here it's all about singing. So what you need to do is to get together notes on every, let's say, beat, or whenever the harmony is changing, leaving out all the clashing notes. So that would be our harmony chord. So for example, here we have not just E minor, but it's the C. Oh god. That's all about that C. So this is our first harmony. Still good together. Pretty much every note in the harmony is in harmony with the harmony, so there's nothing to be left out. Also, what you need to do is, while holding the chord on the pedal, listen to the harmony sand, getting its emotional color. I really like this word sand because it's really like it's hard to describe, you cannot say it's just a certain like color, yellow, gray, red. It's really a scent that you can just somehow perceive through the sound. So while listening, try to get the description like lighter, darker, brighter, softer, open, tense, consonant, dissonance, happy, sad. So let's take a look at the first one. So it could be E minor. So E minor for me is quite dark. I mean, for me, A minor is lighter than E minor, but yet it's not that dark as, for example, D minor or C sharp minor. Okay, so A minor, but he also adds the C, which gives you this beautiful, singing, painful sound and scent to that harmony. So now go to the next. How dissonant and painful this is. Next, kind of resolving, softening. Again, this is also more tense, but not that tense as this. This is deeper. Again, this C in E minor. Major, very bright and very noble and still very powerful. Now comes this baby that's unbelievably painful and very harsh for me. and to noble major. After that, oh my god, we are like in heaven, G major. But yet again, we're going to pain. He's adding this F. To be mine. And here, everything like falls down. Oh god. Everything gets spoiled. This is just out. This is amazing. And again, resolving. This is interesting because even though he goes with crescendo, but some pianists might play diminuendo here. I actually also wanted to play diminuendo because basically what is happening here is this is more intense, then it goes less intense and less intense. Also, there are some highlights. Let me just open the score. Oh god, it's gonna take again a while. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it quickly. Just wanted to mention this. For example, here on the third line, in this bar, on the third beat, I absolutely love how he collapses and crushes this G sharp and G together. For me, it's like the first sign of, well, getting out of this world. You know, when something that seems to be solid stop being solid and you see it's like flickering to something else. So this major who's behind them is amazing. And the same 1, 2, 3, 4 on the fifth line in the third bar he make over here before he going out to the dream angel world. Over here he does the same E sharp and then E major right hand. Together it sounds just again out of this world. You see, everything is flickering, changing, and he going to another world for some moments. Anyways, if you go through all the harmonies here, you will discover the whole new meaning of this nocturne. As I always say about it. So, where should I go? Okay. Yeah, here. Now, so after you listen to the harmonies, you are going to imagine every note in the center of the harmony. This is how you do it. While playing, so imagine notes in the chord in timbre and harmony with movement while holding the chord on a pedal. So you hold this chord on the pedal. While holding it, you imagine every note that is out, that belongs to this chord, in the cellos, in this color of harmony, again with movement and glissando. So this is how your exercise should look like. And you imagine. That helps a lot to feel, to color your imagined notes in harmony. After that, you can try to do the same without holding the chord on the pedal. So you just play. Remind yourself the color of harmony. And then in the silence, you imagine the notes in cellos, harmony with movement, and glissando. Okay? I know it looks a bit weird, but that's how you work with harmonies. And after this, you can try to make it in one line. So you basically play the chord on the pedal. In the silence, imagine this part of notes that belong to this chord in cellos with harmony. This is how it looks like. Okay. So this way. And now about playing. So there are going to be two stages. If you're not really fully solid and settled with sensation of internal singing and weight, then just separate it. First, just imagine notes, imagine cello, harmony, movement, played. Glissando to the next note, cello, harmony, movement, played. Move your wrist, elbow. This is what you do first. And then you add intonation. So again, the same way how we did in previous lessons. So you imagine again. And while internal singing, you imagine glissando to the next note. It's all in the timbre of cello and harmony with movement. While internal singing, imagine glissando in cellos and harmony with movement to the next note. While internal singing, you understand. So this is how it looks like when I'm playing with imagination of timbre and harmony with movement using internal singing and weight. Okay, enough. So again, this might take a couple of days or a couple of weeks for you to make, depending on your abilities to imagine sounds. So start with listening again orchestra pieces or whatever timbre you need, soprano voice or cellos, with low volume. This is a very actually interesting thing to do because we've never done that before, did we? So remember soft and gentle, yet full and deep sound of strings. So what we want with this exercise is to upload to our mind new color, new nuance of the texture of the sound. You want to remember the sound as soft as possible, still keeping its texture. So the point is, when you actually imagine soft sound, you shouldn't imagine it's like more tight and more tiny. You should imagine the whole picture, the same texture, but it's like on the transparency level, it would decrease to like 5%. So you see, that would be your pianissimo, let's say. And then if you want to go louder, then you would increase intensity of the picture, or they call it enhancement. So the picture will be brighter. Anyway, so you're gonna listen to the orchestra example on a low volume. Then imagine notes in the whole line. Let's say in the left hand. In cellos, harmony, and dynamics with movement. So the task here is to really imagine as soft as possible. So if you try to imagine E, imagine cellos, harmonies, and let's say very soft. And then you make glissando to the next note. You play it. Next note. You play it. Again, I really assume that you are watching this video and you're following this video after you went through all the previous videos. So for you now, it wouldn't be a problem to combine imagination and internal singing. So again, that's how you do it. You imagine note in cellos, harmony, dynamics, play. While internal singing, you imagine glissando in cellos, harmony, dynamics to the next note, and you play it. While internal singing, you imagine glissando in cellos, harmony, dynamics to the next note, you play it with correct wrist and elbow movement. That would be your exercise. And then you do the same with the right hand. So the same way you would work with forte. For example, you need to play very loud. So what you would want to do is listen to recording on a high volume, with high volume. And remember intense and rich, yet full and deep sound of strings. So just like I said before in the piano, the common mistake where students will start imagining piano more tiny and more sharp, the same mistake with forte when it's reaching its like high loud, high volume in your imagination. You might start imagining notes harsh, like when you're listening some recording on the high volume with very bad quality earphones, when it kind of hurts your ears. So we don't need this, because imagined sound always affects our touch. If you imagine sound tiny or harsh, your muscles will be stiffed, and your touch will be powerless. So imagining always in a full, rich, deep sound, any dynamics. Like I said, just change the transparency level. Piano 5% transparency, forte 100%, plus enhancement 100%, of contrast and all other enhancements. So let's just take a look at the score. Now, before you starting imagining dynamics and playing like I just showed you, very slowly, I suggest you to really analyze it, because sometimes composers are not really clear about gradations of dynamics, especially if we talk about crescendo or hairpins. So which hairpins is really crescendo, which hairpins is not? Sometimes hairpins are written for emphasizing some notes, maybe in the phrasing, maybe to show better the harmony of the tone. So usually that's what hairpins are for. But if composer really intended to write the crescendo diminuendo, he usually writes it with the words. So, for example, on the second line here, this little hairpin might just shows that you don't need to play this, but this. You see, I didn't really make it louder, although I did that on my recording of this piece. But you can also show that just with your intonation, when you intonate this harmony, this particular harmony here, so that would emphasize it again right away. So you don't have to make literally crescendo here. But then on the second bar, you go a little bit louder to this B minor, and again back to darkness with diminuendo. Second thing is when he writes poco a poco crescendo, meaning gradually. This is also, you need to know exactly which beat, which dynamics you have, because, well, sometimes you might start crescendo too soon, sometimes too late, and all these little things will affect the whole picture of the music, will affect how you feel in now and how you're gonna play afterwards. Basically, I'm just saying everything is connected, so you just don't want to feel any confusion about anything while playing. So here you will start, let's say, piano, still piano, then go to, let's say, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, and then over here to forte. And again, after that is not really clear how you're gonna make diminuendo to piano, but it's really up to you. Usually I make diminuendo right here, and again I know exactly on which beat I'm using which dynamics, where is mezzo forte, where is mezzo piano, where is piano, where is pianissimo if I need that. So that would be probably couple of advices. So know exactly how you increase dynamics or decrease it, and be kind of smart about hairpins and crescendo, diminuendo stuff. Okay, so this is how it looks like when I am playing with dynamics. So I'm not making any voicing right now, and that will sound just this way. I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but really, in between notes, I prepare the sound. It's already in my palm, a moment before I touch the key. That's how I control my touch. And now let's talk about the voicing. So, this is also another thing about voicing. When apparently you want to voice the melody, don't imagine it simply louder or tiny or sharper. That's not gonna work. Because if you imagine right hand just, let's say, mezzo forte and left hand piano, it changes your intonation because you would sing already too intense for the beginning. Yet you would still want to voice it somehow. So the master of voicing is to develop ability to imagine some notes more intense, still keeping them in the same dynamic nuance. So if it's written piano, you're still imagining this voice piano, this voice in soprano, harmony, piano. But now the trick is simply imagine that you are closer, you're standing closer, you are located closer to this sound. So the color of piano is still the same in your imagination, but it is more intense and rich. This is how you voice. It's still piano, but it's more intense. So there is a difference when I play just this. Left hand piano, right hand mezzo forte. How bold it is. Now I'm gonna play piano, but I'm just very delicately gonna voice my right hand. So it gives you this sensation also in your throat because you sing piano, you sing very intense, but still you voice it. Okay. So, should I talk about something else? Yeah, basically what you need to do here is try to imagine every note, looking at the score, and imagine every note in timbre, harmony, dynamics, and voicing. So I think there's no confusion. You're gonna always try to voice the top note in the melody, if there's some double notes or chords. Left hand, there is nothing to voice, though in the next session I will talk about musical speech, and you're gonna use musical speech, and when it comes to some certain intervals, those intervals will be highlighted, but it's gonna be natural through intonation, not through imagination much. Alright, so that's how you actually control the tone, ability to imagine everything in the timbre, harmony, dynamics, and voicing. If you don't do it, then really every touch is just an accident. Firstly, what is musical speech? Ability to feel a difference in singing different intervals will let us pre-feel through intonation the distance of every interval much more accurately. That helps mind and hands to faster prepare to the intervals. As I have said before many times, if we can't feel fast while playing, we're not ready to play fast. Feel the difference in sound while singing with intonation these intervals. So if I sing just interval without musical speech, let's say this 6, it sounds this way. Now let's say I'm gonna use meaning of the 6. So this is all about this. When you change your intonation this way, that brings expressiveness to your playing. So now we're gonna make the same routine as we did in our second step with intonation, but this time adding musical speech. First, work only with the melody. Okay. So repeat small fragments after me. Again, if your level is not high enough, you can simply write down in your score what interval you're playing. But if you're kind of professional level, then sure, just while playing or singing, you just understand, realize which interval it is and apply musical speech. So first, sing out loud. And sing out loud and play. Sing internally. Sing internally and play. Again, all of this, just like in intonation video, we're making without any imagination first, just to focus on our intonation. Now, keep in mind that eventually what we feel with this exercise will be just some different nuances in our singing. Some intervals would be felt more tense, some intervals less tense. And all the intervals will be felt under, let's say, one general character of music. So it's not like you're changing the whole character of music every time you play different interval. But at least if you play it a couple of times this way, if you work on this, this will help you develop these nuances, different sensations in your intonation. That's what we need. So everything kind of will be a bit more blended and the same color while playing, so don't freak out. So after that you work this way with several fragments, and now you play the whole line. Again, you can sing along if you want. Then sing internally. Why am I playing without pedal? Yeah, whatever. So next step would be adding imagination. Well, that's how we usually do it. So you imagine note in soprano, harmony, piano, voicing, you play it. You internally sing with the meaning of 6 to the next note while imagining glissando to the next note. You play it with wrist movement. You internally sing to the next note with the meaning of descending second. You imagine glissando, you play. You internally sing, so this way. I just want to mention that also major and minor intervals, ascending, descending intervals will bring some even more deeper meaning to intervals, gives you different nuance to the interval, but you don't need to focus on it in the beginning. Just separate everything into 7, 8, 9 intervals and stick with this. Later it will appear in your singing naturally, all those nuances. Okay, again, when you kind of feel comfortable, you understood the sensation, it comes now naturally to you, go to the left hand. This is how it looks like. You imagine note in a cello harmony, piano, touch the key. Intonate to the next note with the meaning of fifth. Imagine glissando in the cello harmony, soft, touch the key. Intonate to the next note with the meaning of ascending sixth. Imagine glissando in cellos, harmony, piano, touch the note. That's how you do. So lastly, when you're gonna play with both hands, don't try to feel musical speech in both hands simultaneously. That's really hard. So just follow the melody first, and whenever you have some pauses or gaps in the melody, then you can switch your attention to the left hand. So for instance, I always try to feel, for example, this ascending intervals in my left hand when my right hand stay. So I make intonate this 6 up, and then I go with left hand 5, 6, 3, 6. And you probably noticed that when I was playing, this 6 was always so expressive, so that's why, musical speech. So I go right hand, left hand. Left hand continue, right hand, right hand, right hand, right hand, right hand, left hand again. Again, right hand, right hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. So always switch your attention. Don't try to intonate together like 6 in the right hand, 5th down in the left hand. It's very complicated. So let me show you how it looks like when I play it with musical speech. Just want to mention, if you follow the musical speech at least once through the whole piece, you will discover even deeper meaning of it. Even when he goes to this painful interval, painful harmony here, what is happening in the right hand, second up, and in the left hand, second down. Chopin is really genius of this expressiveness of the voice, of intonation, and it happens so many times when the meaning of harmony would actually match with the meaning of intervals that he's using. I'm sure he didn't calculate it, but it's just beautiful. Over here, I think very important, third up, fourth up, tritone up, and then to the second up in the right hand. You see these little things that what brings so much more beauty and depth to your playing. To see, to notice these things and to know how to express it while playing. I mean, there are so many examples. I really encourage you to just, even if you don't do anything else in this piece, you know, you just stumble to this video, just try to make it. Go through the whole piece with understanding each interval, feeling each interval. So firstly, what is phrasing exactly? Phrasing is a structured intonation, breathing, where smaller blocks with more prominent sections are united into larger blocks with more prominent sections. Use intonation and weight in phrasing to make energetic crescendo towards more prominent sections and blocks. While practicing phrasing, take a little break, a breath, after every block, and slow down towards the main interval in a motive, the main motive in a phrase, and the main phrase in a sentence. Now we're going to make the same routine as we did in our previous steps with intonation and musical speech, but this time adding phrasing. First, working only with the melody, focusing only on singing, not paying attention to imagination. So I suggest to separate singing and imagination part, and then at the end we're gonna mix them together. So we're gonna start with motive first. To feel motives better, you can start with using crescendo in dynamics as well. So this is important because with phrasing exercise we want to develop only one important ability: to feel energetic crescendo and energetic diminuendo, meaning that you can increase and decrease your energy while internal singing, while keeping the same dynamic. So that's the main thing to learn. But again, first I separate the layers, and I suggest you to start with adding dynamic crescendo as well to your energetic crescendo. So it would help you to feel energetic crescendo better. Later, while using imagination, you will control your touch, yet fully feel energetic crescendo in phrasing. And eventually, when we're gonna play motives and phrases, and sentences from the bigger perspective, all those exaggerated waves that we're gonna make now will be done more smoothly. So basically, what you need to do is repeat every motive after me. Sing first out loud. While singing, make energetic crescendo to the last interval. So the last interval in the slur, 1 bar slur, is going to be our main interval. Always gather weight before playing, as weight will help to emphasize more prominent sections and blocks. So when we play with weight and we want to emphasize something, weight help us to make it more powerful. And if you still can't feel musical speech on every interval, then at least use it on the more prominent interval. So, for example, I know from my experience that for some students, developing sense of harmony and musical speech takes time. So, even if you can't really feel musical speech on every interval while playing and you already move on to this phrasing stage, it's okay to just skip some intervals, but at least feel musical speech in the main interval, in the more prominent interval in every motive. So let's say, let's see how we go. So over here, we're gonna finish our first motive. That means that this ascending 6 is gonna be our main interval, so try to feel musical speech in this ascending 6. Okay, So as we start with just a melody, let's just sing it out loud, and this is how it goes. Okay, I don't know, this one really belongs to the previous motive. I'm gonna just imagine that I sang the previous motive before, so this is our first motive. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. And yes, sometimes you might notice that your motive would finish sooner than, let's say, your melody finishes, but when we're gonna make phrasing and sentence, it all will start shining and will be beautifully played. You will see it. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna first sing out loud, then sing out loud and play, then sing internally and play, one by one motive at a time. So the first one, again, we cannot sing this out loud due to quite a wide range of notes, but we still can sing the melody. Now let's sing and play. Okay. Now, if before we couldn't sing it out loud, now internally we can sing everything. So let's just internally sing. And again, every time we sing, we really bring our energy to zero. Like, really not important. And then towards the end, we increase it to, like, let's say 100%. So. And internally sing and play. This is our perfect motive. And again, as I said before, you can increase dynamic as well, just for training of feeling energetic crescendo better. Okay, so let's go to the next. So first we're gonna sing out loud. Sing and play. Sing internally. Sing internally and play. Next interval. Next one. Okay, so that's how we work. After this, try to play the whole line, and again, you can sing along out loud first if you need, but try to kind of separate it, motives in your mind, and stop after every motive. And then you can sing internally. said again before, right now it could be a bit like a bad taste, but we need that to train ourselves better feeling energy. Later it will be almost smoothly. Okay. After this, try to do the same with phrase. So let me just open the score because I quite forgot already. So when you're gonna play, and we're gonna do the same by phrase right now, when you're gonna sing and play, make energetic crescendo in the more prominent red slur motive. So as you can see, you will have sometimes 2 small slurs in one phrase, or 3, and one of them always gonna be a red one. So this is our main motive in the phrase. Okay. So the first phrase is gonna have 3 motives, and the first motive more important. So I would sing again, like this. And then I would play. Then I would sing internally. Then internally and play. Do the same with next one. First motive more important. Internally. That's what you do, and after this you go to sentences again, practicing sentence. Oh no, after this you can play again the whole line, or let's say in this case, I don't know, 2 lines. Okay, so these 2 lines are gonna have 3 phrases. You can sing alone out loud first if you want. If you already got this feeling, sensation of internal singing, then just skip to internal singing and playing right away. The same with sentences. So in the score, sentences are separated with this dark blue vertical line. So you can see the first sentence is gonna have 3 phrases, and the first phrase is a red one. So every time we're gonna go like from the mountain, from the hill down. So again, you can just, I think, already play the whole sentence and internally sing, keeping in mind the whole actually picture of relationship of motives and phrases in the sentence. So after the sensation, while singing, become more settled for your right hand. now you can do the same with the left hand. Now you don't have to already sing out loud, because you really cannot sing out loud left hand. Now you just basically transfer, copy, duplicate the same sensations for your left hand while internal singing. So you can start again with just internal singing and playing. Basically try to stop after every motive to feel better those energetic waves. So this would be first motive, where you would bring everything to the last interval, and you start again. Then you would play by phrases the same way and by sentences. And after that, you are completely ready to play with both hands. Again, you can start first by motive. Then by sentences. So after this, you can start adding imagination while playing. So when you settle in your internal singing, feeling phrasing, knowing exactly the structure of phrasing, now you can switch a little bit of attention to imagination. So basically, if you've done the previous steps of tutorial nicely, then by this time you really can just already think mostly on new principles, and those previous ones will be already in a way automatically. They will come to your mind naturally along with your playing, something like this. In the same way as I told this, if we learn a new language, then we don't have to put so much effort to recall every word after we speak a language for quite a long time. And basically, this is exact order of what to think about before and while playing. And this is what I do. So before starting, you imagine the structural phrasing, like for next couple of maybe sentences. Then you always try to gather weight. As I said before, weight will help us to emphasize everything, but you already know it. And while bringing hands to the keyboard, this very moment, you just imagine the very first notes, couple of notes, in the timbre, harmony, dynamics, and voicing. I'm telling you, as soon as you just tune on the first note, the rest of the notes will come up naturally while playing. And you start playing, expressing phrasing through intonation, feeling it in between notes. So by this time, sounds, imagination, hands movement, and even musical speech are coming natural already, and you don't have to think about it while playing. That's what I already said. So let me give you an example of how it sounds when I play with the full phrasing. Me. And so I just want to mention again, so when you apply imagination, you can still expand your energy according to the phrasing pattern, but you control your tone with your imagination, with your fingertips, so you don't make dynamic crescendo anymore. time with rubatos. Don't be afraid to emphasize something you want to emphasize in phrasing by taking more time. We're still not in the timing stage yet, so we are allowed to do whatever we want this time. So the phrasing is quite actually easy to make, so it's not like you might spend the whole month to make it. I think within a couple of days it's available for anyone who's able to sing. Okay, let's go to the next stage. We're gonna make the same routine as we did in previous steps with intonation, musical speech and phrasing, but this time using musical image. Meaning taking small fragments, sing out loud, play, sing internally and play, taking a bigger fragment, sing out loud and play, sing internally and play. That's it. First, we're gonna work again on melody only, focusing only on singing, not paying attention to imagination or to phrasing. Again, we'll separate the layers. Repeat after me small parts, feeling how you express character of music in between notes through your intonation. And I just want to let you feel the difference actually, how it sounds without musical image and with. So let's say I'm just gonna sing the melody for you with good, nice intonation. Okay. So this is when I'm just applying movement, glissando, resistance. Now I'm gonna go to the image of music. If you want to feel better image of music, just go through the harmonies. They will tune you right away to the right vibration to feel. Okay, so now I'm gonna give it a try to sing it out loud with image. So I just tune into that feeling and start singing with intonation. I can stop. I've never done that before actually by myself. I always just internally right away sing and play. Did you feel it? Such a huge difference. Okay. So that's how you know that it will affect your touching tone while playing. Okay, so again let's do the same thing. Sing out loud. Then you're gonna sing internally this line. Try to feel the same imagery in between notes while singing internally. This beautiful space, and internally sing and play. Next step would be adding imagination or other layers. So we're going to add imagination and phrasing to our musical image. Before I show you, I just want to say that this is an exact order of what to think before and while playing, what to think about before and while playing. So before starting playing, you want to feel the musical image, of course. You tune into that energy, tune into that vibration. Then you gather weight And while bringing hands to the keyboard, just make sure you imagine the first couple of notes and the right timbre, harmony, dynamics, voicing. And then you start playing, expressing musical image and phrasing through intonation in between notes. Again, by this time, sound, imagination, hands movements, and musical speech are coming naturally, and you don't need to think about it much. So, I mean, that's how it looks like. Again, we're playing out of time, so don't bother to play everything steady. Okay, so image, timbre, and let's go on. And basically while playing, I'm just in the image and I'm following the phrasing. And when you got the sensation of musical image in your internal singing, go to the left hand. Now you don't have to sing out loud left hand, so just go with internal singing right away while playing your left hand. Again, you can separate first, you can just play note by note, enjoying how you can express your image in between notes through your internal singing. Something like this. And then you can add imagination and phrasing layers. So feel image, gather weight, imagine first couple of notes, start playing, thinking about phrasing, feeling musical image. But basically the same thing as you did with phrasing, but now you will notice that your intonation has in a way different nuance while you sing and play. So this is how it looks like when I'm playing with musical image, with imagination and phrasing. So go to the image of music. Okay, I gather weight. I imagine first notes, then start playing. So again, we're going to make the same routine as we did in our steps with intonation, musical speech, phrasing, and image, but this time adding musical form. First, working only with melody, focusing only on singing, not paying attention to imagination or phrasing. We separate the layers. So here we're actually going to use musical image as well, by default, adding a musical form to it. So basically we need some substance, because form is like a feeling of structured music, but we also need to make it in the context of some image. So let me just show you how different it feels like when I'm going to sing the same melody in a musical image, but in a different parts of form. Like if you open the score, you can notice that those big capital letters, they are for beginning, development, rising to climax, climax, right? So the first line is beginning. third line, the same melody, is development. On the second page, the first line is rising to climax, and third line is climax, and all is with the same melody. So let's see how it sounds. Okay. I'm gonna sing them in a row, okay? Actually, I'm just gonna sing the same pattern, okay? Because those embellishments I don't need. So rising to climax. And the climax. Okay, so this is the development of the same theme, and this intensity is, like I said in the beginning, it's how you distribute energy. So that's why when I play, you can probably hear the whole story behind this piece. So again, to develop this sensation, you can make the same routine, like I said previously, sing out loud, then sing together with your playing, then sing internally, then sing internally and play. I'm not gonna show because I showed this so many times. Then when again this sensation is settled, so you can internally sing while playing, and you can definitely feel the vibrations of form that you're expressing. Now you can add the layers of imagination and phrasing. So this is exact order of what to think about before and while playing. Feel, before starting playing, you feel image and form. And sometimes I like to quickly kind of embrace the whole part. So in my mind, I would go through every single part of the form very quickly, like, okay, what is the structure of the whole piece? Just like you did with the structure of phrasing, you give this overview. Oh, okay, so this is how it goes. Beginning, development, rising to climax, climax, rising to climax, climax, and conclusion. So again, beginning, development, rising to climax, climax, rising to climax, climax, and conclusion. So you go through this a couple of times till it becomes very small and compact in a way, solid in your mind, like a small, now you know, when you think about the piece, it's just like a very small spot in your mind. So this is, when it happens, then you know, you can embrace the whole piece, you know the whole story. So sometimes when I give myself this kind of overview, it gives me better sensation of, for example, beginning. Because if I know rising to climax, climax feeling, then I know the beginning feeling. I know that beginning is gonna be very neutral, nothing is really happening yet in the beginning, so there's no storm in the ocean. Everything is quite calm with zero energy. So attune into image and form. Okay, I gather weight. While bringing hands to the keyboard, I imagine first couple of notes and start playing, expressing image form and phrasing through intonation in between notes. Alright, so this is how, you know what, I'm just gonna play both hands right away to show you, but basically, when you again stable with your right hand, then you would go to your left hand and do the same thing. First maybe separate layers, just play with image and form. When it's settled, add imagination and phrasing and play again. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna play the very first beginning with zero energy. If I would want to play it with, I go for the score. If I want to play it in development, let's say from here. So I put a little bit more intention. Rising to climax. So I bring more passion, something is about to happen. Climax where it brings everything. Straightforward. All of this you can definitely sense in my playing, so you know that I'm teaching only things that I do myself. Alright, so let's go to the next step. So firstly, what is time about? Time and tempo mean more than just the speed of music. It's a part of the character of music. After choosing the pulsation, connect time to the musical image of the piece. And if the image of music is joyful, feel and describe the pulse not as just slow, but calm and peaceful. Not just faster, but lively and exciting. Not just fast, but energetic and bright. Feel time while playing, always following a phrasing line to sustain the flow of playing. So yes, that's the main thing to remember. While adding inner pulsation while playing, keep in mind to always follow phrasing line. Otherwise, your playing will become static. So it's in a way mastery to connect vertical line, time, with horizontal line, phrasing, just like it was shown in the video. And let's talk about gradations of rubato. How to not make too much and still don't play too flat. This is exactly how it works. First, Throughout the whole piece, you would always feel pulsation. In this case, you're gonna pulsate by every, dotted quarter. Second, when you need a bit more time to emphasize special harmony that maybe speak to you, expressive musical speech turn, or parts of phrasing, you would take more time stretching it out. Another thing is that while you would want to take a bit more time for your melody, you still want to keep steady pulsation in the accompaniment. And so sometimes your right hand would be a bit later than your left hand. Just like a singer would take more time, while a pianist would give this steady frame of timing. And thirdly, because you keep pulsating, you would always come back to the original tempo after its deviation, and that would conclude your rubato. So, common mistake when sometimes people take rubato and then takes slower tempo or faster and they never come back. Okay. So here we're gonna use musical image and musical form as default again, adding to them sense of time. And before playing, always feel what speed of pulsation would reflect musical image and form of music. That will help to choose the right tempo. So for example, I don't know, when you play this nocturne, yes, he wrote Andantino if I'm not mistaken. Basically, oh my god, let me check. Okay, he wrote Andante. So Andante is a time of calm walk, right? So you would think, okay, calm walk, but the calm walk could be different, walk pace could be different, and it would depend on your mood. So for example, if you just relax and peaceful, your calm walk would be in a way lighter, so maybe the time would be a little bit faster than if, for example, you are in this hopeless E minor, like this nocturne, and you feel this heaviness. So when you walk, your walk pace wouldn't be that light. So that's why actually that maybe explains why I play this nocturne maybe a bit slower than people usually play, because I feel that if I am in the character of music, my walk pace would be slower than usual, because I feel I feel more heavy and sad and everything. So that's why I choose the tempo that I chose. While playing, keep inner pulsation, and because it's connected to image and form of music, by thinking about time, you will not be separated from character of music itself. So everything will be in harmony, connected, and in a natural flow. Because sometimes when students are asked to play something in a more organized way, the musical character disappears, because, well, they just focus more on the time, and you focus more on the time, and then you reject or you misview other things. But when the time is connected all together in one feeling to musical image and form, then by thinking about musical image, you will feel time. That's how it works. So like I said before, here we're gonna pulsate by every dotted quarter. Is it true? Let me check again. Yeah, it's true. So by 3 quavers. And you can play with both hands right away, but always feel before and while playing this trinity of musical image, form, and time. Yeah, okay, that's what I already said. So this is an exact order of what to think before and while playing. Now, basically that's exactly what you did before with image and form. You tune into image, form and time. You feel it as one whole thing. Basically you just give pulsation to your image, really. Then you gather weight while bringing hands, think about the first notes, then you start playing, expressing image, form, time, phrasing through intonation in between notes. Again, in my playing, in my performance, you really can listen to it again, really noticing how I took rubato, how my left hand always tries to keep the same pulse, where I would show some very important expressive turns with musical speech, or showing some more intense harmony, and where would I take more time, but then I would come back right away. I usually do. So that would be it. Now let's go to the last stage. We are concluding with artistry, adding artistry to internal singing. So this is how basically the last task looks like. You would play with both hands with characteristic elbow movements, while imagining every note in timbre, harmony, dynamics and voicing, with movement glissando in between notes, and internally sing with musical speech phrasing, musical image, form, time, and artistry while playing. Again, all the imagination part and movements, and maybe even phrasing, would be already in the sensation memories, so they will come along naturally while playing. Artistry helps with holding your ground when performing in front of the audience. Play confidently and stop feeling energy of listeners that always blocks us and freezes our mind and hands. I know, that sounds familiar. So for this principle, you really have to watch my playlist titled The Piano One Program to know and study this principle thoroughly, because I cannot explain it here again. It will take so much time. Okay, now very important thing. Keep in mind that artistry can be done even without any other principles of the system, except intonation, weight, and musical image, because you would need those to convey artistry while playing. And I have made an amazing video about this topic titled How to Feel Confident While Performing on Stage. It literally helps every single student who came to me with only one request: start feeling confident on stage and overcome stage fright. So that's why I just put all this knowledge together and made this video. All these links actually should be down below in the description. Now let me just tell you one thing, why we need musical image. If you would just apply artistry, your playing would sound dull and stupid because of its energy itself. So artistry will only apply as filter, as enhancement to everything we do. At least you should have musical image. In this case, artistry would enhance and make your energy and your image even bigger. For example, if I sing this just in image, the melody. And I sing with artistry. Now I feel the same, but I express it through artistry. I mean, it naturally sounds more dramatic, but it's okay. When you play on the stage, it's just what you need, because if you don't have artistry, everything is so small, nobody will even notice you. Audience will keep thinking about what it's thinking. So again, give you an example. If you just sing with artistry, look how dull it is. Just with artistry. Oh, it's like a soldier in military. You have to do this, do this, do this. Because that's the energy. But when you really combine with image and you just use it to enhance, this is where music comes from. Okay, so on the last stage, just again, and that's exactly what I do. You want to know what Emma Newman is thinking before she starts playing? Look at this. So I tune into image and form and time. Then I put a little bit of artistry into that, and I feel my artistry, but I feel that this artistry expresses this trinity of image, form, and time. Then I gather weight, imagine the first notes in a necessary timbre, and I start playing, thinking about feeling image, form. Basically, I'm thinking about how artistry expresses image, form, and time. I'm following the phrasing in my mind. I kind of notice my touch and tone using my imagination. When I'm speaking like this, it's really the way you speak, and when you speak this way, you really feel like some of the great pianists. I'm sorry, but I have this feeling, when, like, remember Arthur Rubinstein, when he's playing, he sits like a Leo, he speaks like a king, and that's really what artistry gives you, this beautiful filter that helps you to become an artist, helps you to become a true pianist and true musician, and not just a player who plays to himself in the small room, but really a performer on stage. This artistry helps me so much time in my life. It brought me from this terror about performing, where I would always fail, or at least I would be left with this sensation, to a absolutely confident feeling, anticipation of next performance, because I know that nothing will disturb me. And no matter how big the hall is, no matter how maybe grumpy and negative audience can be, well, you know what? They cannot go through this because I'm speaking out and I don't receive any of their energy. And eventually, audience, there comes the moment where audience start in a way, listening to you. I mean, I don't want to say subdue to you, but it feels like you are leading and the audience is listening, not other way around. When you feel you're completely destroyed and audience just eating you. And there is a moment where this co-creation starts. The audience, you leading, you speaking out, you speak up, and the audience is listening to you, and then this exchange of energy starts, and then audience kind of inspire you more with her energy, and you receive this energy, and it enriches your energy, and then you inspire your audience even more, and it goes like like wow for both sides, and co-creation starts this way. So yeah, again, even if you just want to say again, if it's too hard for your imagination or phrasing or anything in this tutorial, artistry and musical image and internal singing could be 3 things that could save your life forever. Yeah, okay, on this dramatic note, I'm gonna finish my tutorial. And thank you for all your very kind comments. Hope you can use something from here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.